feel like Thanksgiving in America is as big, maybe I'm saying something crazy, but almost sounds as big as Christmas. Am I saying something very off? Maybe Christmas is in a different level in America, but I see Americans talking so much about Thanksgiving. Actually, I have a question to all of you guys. Do you prefer Christmas or Thanksgiving? Just pick one. I know you probably like both, but just pick one. I would love to know your perspective, my friend. 5 things I didn't know about Thanksgiving before moving to America. My friends, I'm super excited for this one. Happy Thanksgiving. I know today is a very special day in America. Enjoy all of these moments with your family, with your friends. Enjoy the food because you guys have amazing food. But before I go into this, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description, and let's play it. Alright. Actually, one more thing. I think it's coming today to say the things we are thankful, right? And I'm very thankful to have all of you guys. This community have been something that have been changing my life. I actually, is more than being thankful. I have no words to describe how much do you guys mean to me in a daily basis. I take a look at most of the comments. I'm always trying to engage with the community. And just want to say thank you. Let's go, DJ.
Hi, hello, and welcome, and happy Thanksgiving to my American people. That's people that are American. I don't know why I needed to define that.
Yeah.
But today is Thanksgiving, of course, throughout the United States. And what better time, therefore, to do a video on 5 things I didn't know about Thanksgiving before moving to the United States. So put the giblets down, get a shot of brandy, you're probably going to need it, and watch my top 5.
Okay, let's see it. Similar to the UK Harvest Festival. What?
I've always known that Americans celebrate Thanksgiving at this time of year, mainly because of the film Planes, Trains and Automobiles. I'm not saying that that's why you celebrate it. I'm saying that that's why I know that you celebrate it. Sorry, that was all confusing. But I didn't really understand what the celebration was about. But it turns out that it's really just a harvest festival, much like the harvest festival that we have in the United Kingdom. And then during that time, I remember when I was a kid, I'd go to my local church, right?
Sure.
And I'd take all of this sort of tinned food, which would then be distributed to people less fortunate than myself. That's what that was.
That's
and it was
amazing.
This giving of thanks in its own right. But the thing is about the UK's harvest festival is it's not so celebrated on a widespread scale as Thanksgiving is here. In fact, until just recently, I'd almost forgotten it existed. It was something I very much did as a kid, but then...
Honestly, sorry for pausing, but I feel like Thanksgiving in America is as big, maybe I'm saying something crazy, but almost sounds as big as Christmas. Am I saying something very off? Maybe Christmas is in a different level in America, but I see Americans talking so much about Thanksgiving. Actually, I have a question to all of you guys. Do you prefer Christmas or Thanksgiving? Just pick one. I know you probably like both, but just pick one. I would love to know your perspective, my friend.
As I got older, it was something that got off my radar, but here in America, Thanksgiving is the numero 1 holiday for my money. I think it is.
Oh, number 1. So, this is impressive.
It's the best of all of the national holidays in the United States. You get to eat a lot of food, but it also happens that November is my favorite month in general because that's when I was born, and that's the most important thing here. And speaking of timing, that brings us on to point number 2. Don't know why I'm pointing.
What?
That's rude.
Okay. Fourth Thursday in November. So this is the day of the Thanksgiving, always, right? Is at the 4th Thursday in November. Okay, this is the rule.
So it's the 4th Thursday.
Honestly, sorry, let's run back. I thought that there was a specific day. Okay.
So it's the fourth Thursday in November, and I think, instinctively when I was growing up and I was watching wrestling that has the Survivor Series every November around Thanksgiving, I think I thought that it just had its own date. Like Christmas
Yeah.
Day is December
Me.
25th. I think I just thought Thanksgiving was November 21st or something like that.
I
Never
thought
really
was
looked it
no.
up.
I'm sorry. I thought was November 24 because I thought was exactly 1 month, before Christmas. But it's not the case, right?
And it's only after here I got to learn that rule, that it is the fourth Thursday of November. But it hasn't always been the case. This is something else I've come to find
Really?
through my own reading and curiosity on the subject. The fourth Thursday rule was implemented by FDR back in 1941, and prior to that, back in the 19th century, it had been held on the last Thursday in November, and sometimes there is a distinction to be made between the fourth and the last. You can have 5 Thursdays in a
Wait, you can have 5? Oh my god.
given November. In fact, we're going to have that in this very month. The problem was that, when President Lincoln was trying to get this implemented nationwide to where it would be celebrated on the last Thursday of November, a lot of the Confederate states were like, no, we're not doing that. We've got our own rules, right? Damn it, we're going to stick to those. So it never really became something that was fully standardized until after the Civil War. And at that time, the standard was the last Thursday. But FDR didn't like that, and he changed it, and the fourth Thursday is what we have to this very day. Now, speaking of changing the date of Thanksgiving, that brings me on to point number 3. So no pointing this time.
Canada celebrates it earlier? What? Is this true, my friend? I mean, Canada are great neighbors. Would you guys agree? And Canada, I was looking some videos about Canada. Also a beautiful country. Would you guys agree? I mean, of course. I think you guys love
Yes,
Canada.
Canada celebrates Thanksgiving, but it doesn't just celebrate it, it celebrates it earlier than America. In October, it used to celebrate it in November, around about November 6th, I think it was, but they had to change that because, and this was after the war, it sort of coincided with Armistice Day. Right, so they didn't
What
want
is that?
the days to be so close to each other, so they brought it back.
Wait, sorry, but what is that holiday?
The war, it sort of coincided with Armistice Day, right? So
Armistice Day? I don't understood.
they didn't want the days to be so close to each other, so they brought it back to October, and that's what they stick with now. I think, a lot like with a lot of things that America and Canada do, I think growing up I just assumed that they both celebrated Thanksgiving, and that might be quite naive of me. It's just in the same way that I imagine they had Christmas Day the same day as they do, and that they probably both celebrated Boxing Day, but only one of them does, and that is Canada. So
Honestly, I thought... now sounds dumb, but I'm going to say it. I thought Thanksgiving was only a thing in America, my friend.
again, they depart from the Americans on a lot of these things because it's a different country. You don't expect them, you shouldn't expect them to do things the same. But in my head, I always did. I don't know why. So sorry about that, Canada and America. I lumped you all together because you sometimes speak with similar accents. People do that to me and Australians all the time. So it's just me getting my own back. And before you guys do jump on me in the comments, do know that I've been punished enough. And I've been punished enough by this next entry.
What? Black Friday? Oh, I know this one. This one I'm aware. Is the day after Thanksgiving, right? Easy. This one is very easy, right? And sometimes from what you guys told me, and I also saw a video about that, certain stores may even start Black Friday at the end of the day of Thanksgiving. Am I saying something correct? I hope so.
I'll never forget it. I'd literally been in the country a matter of days in 2008, November 2008. That's when I moved here. I had my first Thanksgiving. Absolutely loved it. Who doesn't? Lots of food and a pint of sherry. Not a pint.
Oh man, can you imagine me celebrating Thanksgiving in America? Well, I don't have family there. Well, with my family, Probably you need a lot of people, right? Maybe to feel. But it would be so cool.
Pint. It probably was. It was a pint.
I can celebrate it. I can celebrate here in Portugal. Even better. I bring my family. This is a normal day of the week. What the hell is going on? No. It's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. What? It's a random Thursday. No, it's not. It's the No, it's the fourth, not the last. The last was back in the day. It's the fourth first day of the month. Yeah, they probably will look at me weird.
It was too much, actually, to the point that the next day, when I was woken up to go and stand outside of Target to go and get some discount DVDs on Black Friday, I was cursing everybody in sight, using British slang so nobody knew, because it was the Black Friday sales.
Oh,
this was a concept at the time that was unknown to me. We didn't have anything like that in the UK at the time that I...
Okay, this happened to me in a completely different level, but I recently actually bought a camera to actually bring to America to do the vlogs next year. I just went in a normal Sunday, and it was the Black Friday year. The dates are completely different in my country versus America, my friends. And I was like, oh my god, there is lines. I did not know today was Black Friday. And guess what? My camera had no discount at all. So I got the boat. I got no benefit. Yeah, zero. But it was a line like 20 minutes at the maximum, maybe 10 actually.
I lived there. I have heard that it's transcended over to the UK now, and it's madness. We even now celebrate it on the exact same day as America, which is interesting. But yeah, it was madness. It was freezing cold outside. It was also 5 a.m. That's dedication on the
5 a.m. What?
Part of consumers to start queuing up at that time. And I'm British, I'm supposed to like a good queue, but not at that time and not at that temperature and not with that hangover. It was mainly the hangover that did it. But what got me about it was just this mass competition for merchandise. I think that was...
So I saw this in another video, but some of the first clips I saw online, maybe even on YouTube, really back in the day, was people in line fighting... to enter the store and stuff like that, and people getting a PlayStation, and one guy is pushing, and then there is another guy with the elbow, and all of a sudden there is a security guard that also wants the PlayStation, and yeah, they called the cops, and the cops got the PlayStation. I saw something like that. It was, and I always thought, man, this is crazy in America.
My first rude awakening into the sort of capitalist structure of America.
I just realized I'm speaking a bit too fast with my Russian English. Yeah, I have to calm down.
It was like being in a zoo. I in fact did see some droppings at one point, just from a baby. I don't know why the baby was there, but it was. And I had a headache for the next 5 days. Again, that was from the sherry, but, it was nonetheless exacerbated, I'm sure, by the sight of a baby pooing in Target. But my Black Friday shopping days are now thankfully history, much like our next and final entry.
What? It started by pilgrims. Okay, I feel like I know this, right? Basically, this is a very cool story. Basically, from what I understand, pilgrims, the Native Americans end up teaching them how to work the soil. You know what I'm trying to say, my friend? And because of that, when they had a lot of food, they end up making a great, dinner or something.
So, in terms of America, I think I always wondered where the idea of Thanksgiving always came from. I mean, it's good to give thanks, right? You think that sort of instinctively we'd choose to do such a thing. But it actually goes back to the pilgrims, the likes of me, not me, that would be
you,
historically.
I get it.
But, my English forebears and the like, when they came over here to New England, right? So they had a harvest feast over there. We used to giving thanks, as part of their church services, and it sort of just came into being. However, there are stories, I think, of Virginians going back, of having also done this, and there are competing theories as to when was the first Thanksgiving festival, as it were. So it's all quite confusing, but all that to say that it does go back to a very specific period in history, and that would be the 1600s. So in other words, it's actually been a national holiday for a shorter amount of time than it wasn't a national holiday before it. And that
that's interesting.
Right there is 5 things I didn't know about Thanksgiving before moving to America. You can get back to your giblets now. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you, my friend.
Bye.
Hey, my friends, thank you so much for watching this with me. I'm going to say it. I'm going to end the way I started the video, basically. My friends, once again, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the moments with your family, with your friends. It's a special day in America. I'm very thankful to have all of you guys. See you guys in the next one. Bye, my friends.